Thank you all for attending the South Wales Commonwealth Youth Summit. Thank you to College Gwent today for hosting for the second time in 2018. So please just enjoy your day and have a good time. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Sheen, and the fact that you're there doing what you're doing, listening to this, means that you have an interest in the idea of democracy, how democracy works, what democracy should be, which is fantastic, and that you have an interest in getting involved in social activism in some way and aware of social issues. So that's great. You've already made a fantastic start. For me, I believe that human beings are flawed, that we're imperfect. That is our very nature, that we don't always do the right thing, that we don't always do what's best, not just for others, but for ourselves sometimes as well. We let our head rule our heart. We get jealous, we get angry, we get greedy, we get power hungry, all kinds of things. It doesn't make us evil, it just makes us human. Democracy is something that allows a balance for that, that takes into account for that, that allows us to live together in a way that is possible for us to have a fair and an equal society, whilst taking into account our flaws. And I think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Democracy is also something that is never finished. It's not. We don't have democracy and that's it. It's an ongoing thing. We have to continually question it. We have to look at it, explore it, challenge it, make sure that it really is truly representative of the people. It's about government for the people, by the people. Now, I have got inspired myself by thinking about the whole history of democracy. How we've got to where we've got to now has not been easy. There have been difficult, hard steps to make this democracy that we have now more and more fair, more and more representative. People have had to fight to get those changes. Our democracy hasn't always represented everybody. It represented a certain elite group. And slowly, through suffrage, more and more people have been enfranchised, and that's so important. We have to know the history, we have to know where we've come from, because otherwise the danger is it can be taken away from us. We mustn't take it for granted. So you have to get involved. You have to know where you've come from, know what the history of this is, and then get involved. And I've got involved in many different forms. I've got involved in an international level through an organization like UNICEF, where I can see what's going on around the world for children. I feel like that's very important because children are the most vulnerable, so dependent on the rest of us, and they so often don't get heard, don't have their voices heard. But also on a local level, getting involved in what's going on in your town, in your community. It's so easy to find out, and you can. My eyes were completely opened in a new way for me about my own hometown in Port Talbot when I did a project called The Passion there, and I saw the kind of work that was going on an absolute grassroots level, and I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to support it and help it and get more involved. So there's all kinds of ways, from big international organizations to small local community organizations. So I urge you to do it, because the world is yours. You are the people who are going to change this world and make it into the shape that you want it. And the fact that you're there doing this now is brilliant, because it means that you have a passion and an instinct for fairness, for equality, to make this world a better place. It's your world, so change it for the best. Good luck.
I'm here at the Youth Summit, Coleg Gwent 2018, but I'm here today with Laurie, who's come along from the Eden Project to tell us about the big lunch.
Yeah, so the big lunch is all about bringing people together and having food, really just getting people to know each other over food, having that excuse to eat together and share and laugh and have fun.
And it's great that they can all get to know each other, people that they wouldn't necessarily come across in normal walks of life.
Definitely. The breaking of bread really brings people together. It's an opportunity to talk about things, and everybody is suddenly made equal. Everybody can talk to each other about anything and everything. So we do the big lunch across the UK in June, and then we do special events as well, including the Commonwealth Big Lunch, which we did especially around the summit and especially around the Heads of Government meeting earlier this year.
Well, we had earlier this year at the Temple of Peace, we had a big lunch.
We did.
We had down the bay. We had another big lunch there, and we also did a big lunch at the food bank in Cardiff, which was fantastic. There were others, of course, all around, but it's a fantastic way of meeting and greeting people and getting to know each other.
Yes, it is. So 200,000 people across Wales took part last year, which is hard to believe.
Fantastic.
But so people are just coming together in their communities, in the neighbourhoods, and events like these are a really good excuse just to stop and think, actually, we're not just going to eat, we're going to eat and talk, and it's all about the talking.
Yes. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the first activity that they've undertaken of a scene of about 8 or 9 different challenges we'll set over the next 90 minutes. And as you can see, the students are quickly coming to grips with all the technical information that we've got and provided them. And then hopefully at the end of this, they should enable themselves to come up with the answers of the objectives that they've all been set. We're undertaking a humanitarian disaster aid, and the students are working through their teams to establish what operational requirements are required in order for the Air Force to deploy personnel and ground assets to island of Murillo. The students have got to work out the professional roles available in the Air Force, such as logistics. We have personnel and support. We've got to bring in some heavy medical supplies because the humanitarian disaster has created a lot of casualties. And then with that, we have to bring in our force protection personnel to secure the area and the military assets that are about to be in place.
So the aim of today was to raise awareness amongst students and amongst teaching staff about opportunities that are available to them in various different disciplines in the Army, Navy and Air Force.
But from my perspective, watching the youngsters going through the planning processes, for them, something that was confusing because they would talk about lots of aircraft, but actually it's what lies behind the project that I'm interested in, is the team working, the self-reliance, taking the available data they've got and coming up with, in most cases, very workable plans. And that's what any employer particularly wants. So anything that's going to draw out those latent abilities the kids have got, that's a winner as far as we're concerned.
I'm delighted to be here because we support the ethos of the Royal Commonwealth Society, and indeed I spent a lot of my military career serving in the Commonwealth organisations, especially out in the Caribbean. So it's delightful to be here, and what it's been about today is empowering our youngsters, and I think that's been a key message of the Commonwealth Society this year when you're celebrating 150 years since its formation, to get youngsters engaged in dialogue, to work together, to work collectively to solve problems, and just to emphasise that this is what the British military does on a daily basis. We're actually deployed worldwide representing our community and our country to ensure that we safeguard our nation's interest and also the interest of our Commonwealth partners.
At a time when the armed forces are constantly being shown in operational theatres around the world in active combat operations, and bear in mind we still have troops from Wales still working in Afghanistan and Iraq. Actually, a lot of the work we do is in the humanitarian field, and that's something that occasionally I think we need to promote more, that it's not just about being there for the worst case scenario on behalf of the government, but it's there to support communities who are very much in need, at home as well as overseas.
So thank you very much. It's lovely to have all you guys together, and all for the sake of humanity, which I can just sum up and say, it's not about recruitment, it's about humanity. And we're just going to go back in for the afternoon session, which is a furtherment of the Youth Summit.
We're now going to get into our country mode. You're going to put aside yourself and your community, and you're going to take on role of a head of government or a foreign minister of the country that you've been given.
From November to April every year we have consistently heavy rains.
In the next 100 years it's said to see that the water levels are supposed to rise.
We have desertification happening inside our country.
We feel that the United Kingdom is doing nothing to help us towards climate change.
And this is a Commonwealth problem. So what are we as a Commonwealth family going to do about this?
Find out what other countries in the Caribbean, Barbados, around there, and talk to each other and just find out what similarities you got.
So perhaps we can begin to start discussing this issue and surfacing some of the ideas that we have as a Commonwealth as to how we can take action, how we can work together.
As you well know, Deanne has been called to the bar. She's a barrister, she's a Commonwealth athlete, and she's Miss Universe GB.
So it is very important for us as part of the Commonwealth to invest in our communities, invest in education, invest in making sure others are aware of the problems around us in order to have sustainable world of peace. Thank you very much, guys.
Before we leave, we've got a young artist here who the Royal Commonwealth Society of Wales commissioned to produce a piece of art for Deanne. So she's going to present that to her now.
This is supposed to represent Miss Universe. It's abstract, of course. The sign in the middle, it means daughter of the universe. So I hope you like it, and good luck next week.
First of all, I'm very, very happy with the painting. The painting is absolutely beautiful. Sue did a remarkable job, and I cannot wait to take this home and put it up in my room. I might put it in the lounge actually, so everyone can see it. But yes, and the Youth Commonwealth Summit has been an incredible experience. I have a long-standing history with the Commonwealth through my appearance at the Commonwealth Games in 2010 and 2014. I love the Commonwealth Games. I support sports and the ongoing peace and prosperity and stability of the Commonwealth nations. I think it's very important for world relations and international relations.
Thank you very much. And on that note, round of applause, thank you and goodbye.
It's been a wonderful day. The Youth Summit was incredibly fascinating to hear the wonderful opinions of the young people involved, their imagination, their depth of feeling, their social conscience was quite remarkable. Wonderful sense of humour came through as well from each of them. I don't think I've had a more pleasant day in my life. And I would just like to thank all the people involved, including the teachers and the organisers, for organising it. Roll on next year so we can have another one. Thank you.